Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today we are doing, well, we're doing it as a double bill. You'll get the second part on Thursday, I believe. We are doing The Godfather.
What do you want of me? Do what I beg you to do.
Now you come to me and you say, Don Corleone, give me justice. You come into my house and you ask me to murder.
I ask you for justice.
That is not justice.
They want to get mixed up in the family business. You got to get up close like this. Bada bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
You give him one message, I want Salazzo. If not, it's all out war. We go to the back.
Some of the other families won't sit still.
No, hand me Salazzo.
My father would want to hear this. This is business, not personal.
They shot my father. It's business.
Even the shooting of your
ass.
father was business, not personal.
Some might say at long last, some might... But I won't say at long last. We've been doing a lot of good films before it. It's not like we've been trushing through sludge. We are doing, yes, The Godfather, and naturally, The Godfather Part II. Because I don't know about you, but there's not a single time where, unless I'm flicking channels, I'll watch The Godfather.
I never wanted this for you. I worked my whole life. I don't apologize to take care of my family. And I refused to be a fool. Dancing on the string held by all those big shots.
It's not personal. It's strictly business.
And then not watch The Godfather Part II. It's always a 6.5-hour film for me.
It's probably more of a you thing than a me thing. I love both, but I've just not got the time or the patience to sit through both.
Patience?
It sounds like watching The Godfather's a chore. It's really not.
Yeah, William.
I want to go off and do something else. I can't do the same thing for
I don't
7
know.
hours.
I guess I've done it a lot recently. I think doing it with new people sort of makes it all new all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't do it with new people the other day. I actually watched them alone. No, I mean, to me they're two perfect films. I wouldn't change a thing, but we will get to this as we go. Well, these are two of my favourite films of all time. They rank, I believe it's 7. I think they tie at for me. No, 5. Yeah, you're damn right. They both tie at 5. I tie them because, as I say, I watch all 6.5 hours. But we will get to this eventually, but I do have an order in my head, but still, I tied them. I was very naughty. What's your relationship with The Godfather and The Godfather? More so The Godfather.
I've not added, either one to my ranking. Yeah. I still don't know. It's definitely in my top 50. Both.
That's a good start.
Yeah, National Treasure might be ahead. That's the thing. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah. No, it's one of those that, even though all the film nerds, I say those people, that's us. Even though sort of the people, I love The Godfather, I love all of the classics. It's because they're good. It's because they're good.
Yeah.
So I don't feel shame in saying, it's high in my ranking.
What's a classic? What do you think is the most overrated film of all time, Will? What's the one classic film where you just go, don't get it? I just don't get it. Not that you don't get it, that you don't get what the appeal is. Go on.
Avatar.
No, but I don't think Avatar's a classic. Nobody likes Avatar anymore, do they?
Just James Cameron.
Just James Cameron. Like, I mean, if it wasn't for the Disney World's expansion,
Yeah.
which is incredible, by the way. I know you've never been to Florida, but Pandora World.
America.
Yes, true. But Pandora World is incredible at Animal Kingdom. It's fantastic. One of the best rides going nowadays is Flight of Passage, the Avatar ride. But I think it's more so. It's sort of like we're in the period where everybody hated Titanic. I think in 5 years, people are going to be like, yeah, no, Avatar's pretty good. Maybe when we return to it, Will, for James Cameron fortnight, you'll change your mind. I don't think I've seen it since since it came out.
I don't think I've ever sat all the way through Avatar.
Well, that might help a watch if you actually watch the film. It's always a good thing. 2001's always been a big one for me. I mean,
yeah,
I love Kubrick. This is the thing. It's not like I don't like it. I don't mind Barry Lyndon. It is a bit dull, but I think there's more going on in Barry Lyndon than there is in 2001. I mean, to sit through 10 minutes of bloody optical illusions and everything.
I like an optical illusion.
Wow. Yeah, but you also not a big fan of 2001, are you?
No.
Yeah.
I prefer Wall-E. That's the better version of 2001.
The best 2001 is one of the best sci-fi films ever. If it's just the middle 90 with Hal.
Yeah.
The gorilla thing's great.
And that sounds weird saying, because surely 90 is enough for a film.
Yeah, but you got these bookends, and anyway, we
like
will
a
eventually. I do like a bookend. Okay, but The Godfather. Pardon me. Let's just jump straight into it because I've got some very interesting notes, I think. YouTube comments. If you think this movie is boring, you need to see a doctor. Everything is great about it. Actors, plot, soundtrack, everything. And I agree.
Yeah.
In fact, I wrote that comment. It pains me that people can ever say this movie is too long or boring. This is one of the greatest, if not the greatest movie ever made. I suggest the idiots who fell asleep to grow an attention span which is capable to comprehend how much of a masterpiece this is, not that of a 10-year-old.
I feel like that's directed at me.
Yeah, well, yes. A chore. God. One of the most overrated films ever.
It's not, though, is it?
It's not.
That's like the reverse sort of film buff saying, "Oh, actually, I don't really care for The Godfather.
Citizen Kane's
quite overrated.
Citizen Kane's bad."
Yeah.
It's not, though, is it? And he continues. You watch 6,000 plus movies and tell me this deserves the credit it gets. I don't know. I personally haven't seen more than 6,000 movies.
Really? That's a shock.
I've definitely. Sometimes I think, how many movies have I actually seen?
I'd say between 1,000 and 2,000.
But are we counting rewatches?
No, single films.
I don't know if I have. I mean, there's no way of knowing. Anyway. When somebody asks me to explain this movie, there are no words. Watch it. That's all I can tell you is watch it. Then you will understand why there are no words to how good this is. I respect the fact that people love this movie, and so I watched it. Honestly, it took me 2 days to finish. I feel it's so slow for me, cause these days we've been seeing great content with an 8 at 120 min. No, you've been seeing shit content that's always too long. To bring up those bloody Marvel movies again, but it's true.
Ooh.
This movie has to be on Netflix because it is a masterpiece. I don't know if is that the grading scale.
If it's good, it's on Netflix.
I'd say it's the opposite. Actually, I'd say there's a
there's
lot of bad on Netflix.
Recently, at time of recording, there's a lot of good stuff on. They've
No Country's on there.
they've just put Yes Man on.
Just as good as No Country for Old Men. Didn't Yes
Yeah.
Man also win Best Picture? Needs more Luca Brasi. Nah, he's enough. It's good. Music by Nino Rota. Thinking of it gives me a chill through all my life. Very eloquently put. Do you like the music in this film, Will?
I love the music in this film. It's very nice.
What's your favourite theme? Is it the main trumpet?
What Speak Softly, Love?
Or is
That's
it
quite
Speak,
good.
Yeah. Speak Softly Love's the best.
Yeah. It's the bit where it really gets into it, and you've got the sweeping strings. Oh,
Sweeping vistas of Corleone. You named after this town, you took the name of this town. Well, that's Godfather Part II, we'll get to that. There's Antonio Andolini. Hey, can I hear? Antonio Andolini.
you sound like you're doing an impression of the Greek woman from Harry and Paul who curses everyone.
No, this is Don Vizzi. Anyway, best 10-minute stretch. Will, why don't you kick us off?
I've struggled because I'm worried that I haven't got the same ones as you. I have got some that overlap.
Oh, so so that's why you're worried. You're worried.
Yeah,
that
I'm worried that
agree.
you'll disapprove.
No, it's okay. I hope that no, go on.
I've got the opening 10 minutes for sure.
Mm.
So no, it's not only iconic, but it's quite good, and it sets the film.
I was naughty, and
You put that into a minute, did you?
no, I did the whole wedding as the whole 10 minutes. Let's just talk about the wedding.
You crammed it all in.
My famous theory: name a bad movie that ends or starts with a big wedding. You can't really. Sure, you've got your 27 dresses. Sure, you've got your shit movies.
27 Dresses is great. Bride Wars as well. That's great.
Another bad movie. Two terrible examples. Will. But weddings are great. My love of weddings bleeds into my love of movies, and it meets with The Godfather. I think that the opening half an hour, I say economic because it's a 3-hour film, but the economy of that half an hour, we meet everybody, we understand every character, we understand every plot trajectory, every little moment is entertaining, humorous, enlightening, sinister, just flawless. It's a masterful. I mean, the rest of the film is masterful as well. But that wedding, I could watch that every day and see something new.
I'm sure you do.
There have been days when I have just put the wedding on. Like, okay, so you're flicking channels.
Mm.
You don't have Sky, do you?
No, I refuse.
Oh, okay. Well, so you don't flick channels and see The Godfather a lot, whereas I on Sky Cinema, it's always, they usually have Godfather or Godfather Part II always on, or
Okay.
Shawshank.
For me, if I'm flicking, it's Dressed to Impress that comes on first.
Yes, whereas I watch The Godfather. Yes, no, the wedding is flawless. What's your favourite little part within the wedding, Will? No, we'll save those for specific favourite part because I've got a few anyway. Okay, sorry. As you were.
I'll shoot
So
early. I like the dancing.
The dancing is great. So you're talking specifically about the morgue.
Yes, that very initial.
I
10
believe
minutes
in
because
America.
I've actually stuck to the category and I've done a 10-minute stretch rather than a half-hour one. No, it's great. That's great. And he's got his cat, which I'm sure we'll get to in fun facts.
Yes, that they just found a cat.
He was holding it. They're like, Alan, do you want to come on? Yeah, and then take it off him. I've got Michael killing the two guys in the restaurant.
The McCluskey meal.
Yeah, that's great with the train sound effects in the background, and you've just got that probably a whole 30 seconds just close up on his eyes. That's good eye acting. That's great eye acting.
Right, I'll get this out of the way. The best performance of all time, male, female, TV, theatre, anything, is Al Pacino in Godfather 1 and Godfather Part 2. You talk about eye acting. We're going to get to it in Godfather Part 2. But the abortion scene in Godfather Part 2 is the best acting ever put to celluloid. The growing intensity in Al Pacino's eyes before he slaps her is the finest piece of work anybody has put to the silver screen. These are big statements, but I think they're true.
I've also got, I've then got the last 10 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, I put last 10 minutes, but then one more, funeral into baptism. Sorry, that's for me. I've put it in minute, but I'll get the funeral in there as well. You got some good Michael. That baptism scene's great.
The baptism sequence, I think we can slot for single minutes, but we will certainly get to it. Okay, so the wedding, which we just talked about, the Sicily sequence, the beautiful expanse of Sicily, traveling over. We hear the "Speak Softly, Love" coming in, the romance with Apollonia, the beautiful, the wonderful romance that they share. This hot, romantic, fleeting moment.
My father made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Luca Brazzi held a gun to his head, and my father assured him that either his brains or his signature would be on the contract. That's a true story.
Which we'll get to in Tom's big question. And the obviously tragic death of Apollonia.
It's less tragic, well, extreme.
It is very extreme.
Blown up in a car.
She wants to drive you. She's going to surprise you. Oh. Hey, Fabrizio.
I've got that in my one of my best minutes.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Excellent stuff. The hospital is my favourite 10-minute stretch. When Michael swings by and there's nobody there, and he bumps into Enzo De Beca, and he's like, no, lose the flowers, and he put this gun in your hand, pretend you have a gun. That's my favourite. He's like, I'm going to keep carrying that, Pa. I'm going to keep carrying that, Pa. His eyes just open a little bit, and you can just see a smile. Do you know the famous story about Marlon Brando at the end of the movie The Score?
No.
So this is like latter day Brando. And the final scene, he's the mentor. It's a bank robbery movie, and it's De Niro and it's Edward Norton. And the final scene is Marlon Brando watching a TV of a news report that De Niro and Norton have gotten away with the big heist. And he's supposed to look at it and smile. He wouldn't smile. He wouldn't smile. So they have to CGI his lips. And it looks terrifying. It looks like The Things in the Cat in the Hat film. It's rather terrifying. That's my favourite stretch, because that's the initial, okay, this is the Michael that we're going to come to know. The McCluskey meal. How have we not talked about Hollywood? Jack Waltz meeting the incredible Jack Waltz. I don't know any of you giddy bastards coming here. I'm Irish American. I'm German Irish. Well, let me tell you something, my Krautmik friend.
want to have a meeting with me, right? It will be me, McCluskey, and Soletso. Let's set the meeting. Get our informers to find out where it's going to be held. Now, we insist it's a public place, a bar, a restaurant, someplace where there's people so I feel safe. They're going to search me when I first meet them, right? So I can't have a weapon on me then. But if Clemenza can figure a way to have a weapon planted there for me, then I'll kill them both.
Incredible stuff. Going to Vegas and meeting Mo Green, meeting Fredo and his old dolled up Johnny Fontaine again. Fredo, get rid of the girls. Fredo, who are the girls? I don't know. But not really. Yeah, Fredo, we will come to talk about Fredo. And the death of Sonny.
Yes.
As rough as it is, obviously the beating into the brutal murder of Sonny, a kick in the face.
Who I played in Greece.
Greece, yeah.
Yes.
not in The Godfather. What was it like working with Robert Duvall? Yes, no, the wonderful James Caan. What's your favourite James Caan film, Will?
The Godfather's up there.
More
I
Than
like
Misery?
Elf. Elf is good. Oh, he voices Flint Lockwood's dad in Cloudy and the Chance of Meatballs, doesn't he? And that's a great character.
I'm surprised you haven't gone for Misery.
I talk about Misery too much. Misery is great.
Misery is great. Yeah, no, Elf is also great for someone special. The death of Sonny. It's wonderful stuff. Tom's weirdly specific favourite parts of the film. I love when they go to take the family picture and they say, no, where's Michael? Wait. Can't take the picture. Sonny dealing with the cops, throwing the camera on the phone and then throwing down the money and spitting. Deals with it very well. And the wonderful Clemenza trying to pull him back. Fat Clemenza. I love C'è la luna dentro and the old man who gets killed later brutally in an elevator, and he goes Handabu. Wonderful C'è la luna. I love one of my big things. I have to say, I call it a romance, but the relationship between Michael and Kay over the first two films, not the third film. The third film's a travesty. We'll give some lip service to it in the next episode. But the relationship of Michael and Kay and how that develops from where we first see it, I just adore. And one of my favourite little Michael and Kay moments is when Michael brings Kay into the family picture. And he's like, no, you're here now. You're part of the family. And it's rather sweet, lovely. And I very much enjoy it. The Jack Waltz speech, which we will get to in Favourite Line Hall of Fame. The unfortunate death of Luca Brasi. The knife.
Yeah, I've got that. That's great.
It's got that great
thing. His eyes are so open.
Yes, they are. It's got that great real look of... the famous fact about Inglourious Bastards is that Tarantino actually strangled Diane Kruger because he wanted the real look of somebody dying. I don't know if they did the same thing on Cuckoo's Nest, but for me, it's more scary in Cuckoo's Nest when Nicholson's strangling Louise Fletcher as Nurse Ratched because she looks like she's really going to die, and this more so. Yeah, we don't know. The death of Paulie. Paulie, you won't see him no more. And the obvious, leave the gun, take the cannoli. Clemenza on the with Michael on the phone, and he can't say "I love you," and then Clemenza, why didn't you tell that young girl you love her, Mikey? I love you. I love you. If I don't see you soon, I'm gonna die. It's great. Maybe my favourite millisecond of the whole film, and this we just see the cold nature of Michael Corleone, is the shaking hand when Enzo the baker's smoking, and Michael stops him, and no problem at all, he can light that cigarette. Don't know whether this is, mind over matter or what, but he's got it in hand. No problem at all. The zoom in on Michael when he's describing how he can kill McCluskey.
Yeah.
Never better. I mean,
he can act, can't he?
He's good, isn't he? He's good.
He's all right.
Into it's not personal. It's strictly business because he's got this bust jaw. The death of Apollonia, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
The saddest part of the film when Vito is brought home, and he's told all the business, and then he goes, "Where's Michael? Where's Michael?" And Robert Duvall, Tom Hagen has to give it to him. It was Michael that killed McCluskey. His eyes just drop. Incredible. The death of Carlo, that brilliant, brutal, keeping the camera on the hood of the car and smashing through.
That's an exit because he just gets out the car and he's still going.
Yeah.
And they're still shooting at him.
So sort of, I think a lot of the dialogue in this is quite realistic and flows, and it's great. And I'm not saying that this isn't realistic and doesn't flow, but it's more of a drop the mic line. But it's so perfect. Of my father's not like any other important businessman in this world. Yes, Michael, but senators and presidents don't have people killed. And then, okay, who's being naive? Because obviously senators and presidents do have people killed.
A month ago, he bought the movie rights to this book, a bestseller. And the main character is a guy just like me. Why, I wouldn't even have to act, just be myself. Godfather, I don't know what to do.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you? Is this how you turn down a Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman? What can I do? What can I do? What is that nonsense? Ridiculous. You spend time with your family?
Sure I do.
Good. Because a man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
And the farewell to Tessio, it gets me every time, really. I'm always like, no, come on, Tom Hagen. Come on, let him off. And come on, Tom, for old time's sake. And he doesn't let him go. It's unfortunate. Will's more general favourite part of the film?
I've got the knife stabbing on the hand. That's great. I got Michael struggling to find the gun behind the toilet. I love the realism in that. That's great. Because it takes him a while. And then when he finally gets it and he pulls it down slowly, that's a lovely reveal. And
when he first comes out of the bathroom and he doesn't do what Clemenza said, and you go, "What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing?"
And then he just sits back down, and then he does his eyes. You got the train. Wonderful
deaths from Sterling Hayden, and the neck.
The bit where he's like trying to move his lips, and he's that's great. And then he just slams onto the tape.
And that incredible organ sting of dun, 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 which was going to be the intermission, because in 1972 it was the rarity. I say rarity, never happened. Film's over 2.5 hours. It gets an intermission. So and obviously this is 3. And that was the original intermission point. It was going to be that dun, 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 intermission, And then that newspaper montage, they call it the mattress montage, where they're all on the mattresses. That was supposed to be the lead in after the intermission. And Robert Evans, producer extraordinaire, recently deceased, said, no. The power is too much. That'll propel them through the next hour easy. And I completely agree. And obviously when I'm watching it at home, I do love an intermission though. We talked about intermissions.
It gives you a chance to get another cup of tea. Like, you sat there, half an hour, you've got nothing else. And you're like, oh, I want to go get something. But then you've got to sit through it.
You don't have to. You just pause it, don't you?
Oh, okay.
I do famously love a good intermission. My biggest, because when The Hateful Eight came out and that had a intermission, I was very excited. And then when I got my Blu-ray and it didn't have an intermission, I was very annoyed. Very annoyed. Anyway.
I just don't like The Hateful Eight in general.
I know, which is why I put it on Tarantino.
Overrated. I know. I'm very You're not. I'm not going to watch it, Tom. I'm not going to watch it. When that episode comes on, I'm going to sit here in silence. I'm going to sit in silence. I'm not going to talk about it.
Hateful Eight's really good. Anyway, any of the other favourite parts?
I've got Michael when they shoot him through his window and he's at the dressing table and he's the fear on his face, and then he just ducks down and crawls.
That's Godfather Part II, Will.
I love that. Is it? Oh,
yes, Will.
I've got my notes mixed up, but that's very good.
That is a good part in Godfather Part II, yes.
And I've got unless it's a big question, during the murders in the baptism.
Yep.
My favourite one is Mo getting shot in the eye, and his glasses cracking. That's very
which is an old Sicilian message. That's why he gets shot through the eye, because it means his eyes were getting too big for his stomach. Because he was being greedy with Las Vegas. It is very nice.
You also have to have a very good aim.
Yes. I always sort of passed it off as, they were trying to shoot him through the head. But then when I read that piece of information, I thought, bloody hell.
Also, why, when they shoot him through surely in order to penetrate his eye, the glass would have to shatter. But it's only cracked. There's no bullet hole through the glasses.
Maybe it was a small bullet.
Tiny bullet.
Well, no, we don't really see the bullet hole because the blood starts pouring through straight away, don't we?
Yeah, but I would like to see a bullet hole because...
You would like to put the actor playing Mo Green in desperate danger of eye harm.
Well, now, for all we know, he could still be out there and he'd be coming back for Godfather 4. Because we never saw that bullet hole.
Indeed. Oscar travesty. Here we go. Okay, so your Oscars were Godfather versus Cabaret. What people sort of forget is that Godfather won Best Picture, but Francis didn't win for the first film. He won for the second. Bob Fosse won for Cabaret for Best Director. Now, I love Bob Fosse. Lord knows I do. I love Cabaret. Lord knows I do. But Francis Ford Coppola should have won for The Godfather. He should have won for both films.
What about Sleuth? That was good.
Sleuth is fine, Will. I don't think it is. It deserves the Oscars. And then I think the obvious winner for me is for Bob Fosse is obviously All That Jazz. But anyway, so quite an odd one. It got nominated 3 supportings. So
you don't see that nowadays, do you?
You don't at all. And Michael and Lawrence were nominated for Sleuth, the Best Actor.
And Peter.
Yeah, but that was
not for the same movie. I'm just saying, Peter's been nominated.
Ruling Class, great film.
Yeah.
Peter O'Toole never won.
Oh,
never won an Oscar.
Nowadays, you'd have Olivier for Best and Michael for Supporting, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
In order to play the system.
Well, this was Al Pacino's big issue. Al Pacino, famously, you don't hear many stories about him being a terrible, person to work with or whatever.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he isn't. But he didn't turn up to the Oscars because he thought, what the hell is this? I am the best actor. Sorry, not I am the best actor. I'm the best actress.
No.
He was very adamant, and I completely agree with him.
Well, if he's lost to Joel Grey, it's fine, but he's...
No, I'm saying that Al Pacino thought that it was rather offensive that he was not in the best actor slot.
Yeah.
And that Brando wasn't supporting. And for me, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Brando should be in the supporting. Yeah. They all lost anyway to Joel Grey and Cabaret. Do we agree with this?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think Joel Grey's a very good MC.
He's a fine MC. I think we're both on the side of coming, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, do you think if Brando was nominated for Best Supporting, he would have beaten Joel?
He would have beaten Joel Grey without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And Al Pacino would have won. That's probably where he's probably good about that, and also good at the fact that the opportunity he had, the guy who won it declined.
Yes, indeed. So this is a big Oscar travesty. Do you remember, Will, who collected the Oscar for him?
It was a Native American woman.
Do you remember the name?
I'm sure you do.
I do. No, it was a it was a Native American actress who, for some reason, she was talking. Well, no, I know why. So basically, Marlon sent her up as Sachin Littlefeather to oppose the representation of Native Americans on screen. Poor Roger Moore had to go, I don't know what's happening. He was awarding the Oscar, and lots of people booed, actually. People were very annoyed with this. Yes.
I was watching an interview with him on Gabbett, talking about why he did it. It's very, and that's also a great interview because he's normal. I've never seen an interview with Marlon just being normal, and he's a really down to earth, chill guy. And he doesn't. I've always seen him as the sort of really hard to work with, go off and does his own thing, greedy, has a chicken in one hand all the time, man, which he does.
Well, when we get to Apocalypse Now, that is most certainly what is happening there. On this, he was more reasonable by all accounts.
Yeah.
Apart from the lines, he did have a lot of cue cards. You can see in the film.
But in that opening shot,
yeah,
it works as well because he does sort of a Richard. I'm not saying he does a Richard Gere. Richard Gere probably does a Branda. But he keeps looking to the side, and you think, oh, what's he thinking? What's? No, he's just looking at his lines.
Looking at his lines. Liza won for Cabaret. Do we see a supporting actress nomination for either Diane or Talia Shire?
I think Diane's good.
Diane is good.
Enough for a nomination.
Enough for a nomination. I haven't seen Butterflies Are Free. I wonder if I'm sure it's lovely. Some great stuff there. Candidate, wonderful film. Bit of Redford. Godfather 1 for its screenplay. I mean, yeah, good. I'd hope so. There's got to be a morning after from the Poseidon Adventure. Very good song from the Poseidon Adventure. So basically, he got declined. Nino Rota got declined for Best Score because he reused a small bit of music from a Italian movie from the 40s that nobody had ever seen.
Also, people said, "Oh, that's cheating."
Well, it is cheating. Well, yeah, no, it's got to be original score.
I got told off in my GCC music class because we had to compose some music to go alongside an old black and white Dracula film, and I just decided to play the theme from Psycho.
Yeah,
that's not your own, is it? I've heard that before.
I don't, I don't blame him. If it was, I mean, it obviously is good music, and if the other film is, shit and forgotten about, I don't blame him. Thank God we got to hear
maybe just rewrite it. Maybe repeat the motifs heard in it and just adapt it to make your own piece of music, and then win an Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, by that case, then West Side Story and Evita should have won Best Original Score and all that, but one of those things, alas. Will's favourite building or set?
It's the mansion where the guy wakes up with the horse's head.
Also seen in?
What? Have we done it before? Oh, we... Of course.
It's the Fletch house.
It is. Have you heard the news?
Yes, because I sent it to you, Will.
Tagged me in. Very exciting news.
And by the time that this episode is released, then it will already be cancelled, like all the other Fletch reboots. No, I'm very excited. John Hamm gets my massive seal of approval. I mean, does this look like a birthmark? It's not just a framed picture. It's supposed to be signed. I mean, it's not. You can very clearly see that it's printed. And Mad Men has no space between it. Mad Men.
Oh no!
But it's my lovely little Mad Men. I say corner. It's the middle of my desk. Anyway, and it's got a little thing.
Oh, there you go.
All the Blu-ray. Anyway, yes. Any other favourite set as well?
I just Sicily in general. That shot.
Beautiful.
I want to drive there on a nice day, and then stop in a nice cafe or eat by the sea.
Well, Will, I'm going to ruin something from my notes.
Oh,
I've been there.
Oh. No.
I have. I went on we were on a cruise, and one of the stops was Sicily, and you could do the Godfather tour. And so I have been to the church where Apollonia and Michael marry. I have sat and had a Fanta Lemon in the cafe where...
Do they still do them?
Oh,
I'm sure.
The best drink in the world.
A few months ago, there was people were panicking because the rumour was that we're going to stop doing Fanta Lemon, and it's the best one.
Fanta Lemon is the best one.
Chef cook for you special. The dancers will kick your tongue out, and your credit is good. Draw chips for everybody in the room so they can play in the house.
My credit good enough to buy you out?
Buy me out.
The casino, the hotel. The Corleone family wants to buy you out.
The Corleone family wants to buy me out. No, I buy you out. You don't buy me out.
Your casino loses money. Maybe we can do better.
You think I'm skimming off the top, Mike?
You're unlucky.
You goddamn guineas really make me laugh. I do you a favor and take Freddie in when you're having a bad time, and then you try to push me out.
Wait a minute. You took Freddie in because the Corleone family bankrolled your casino because the Molinari family on the coast guaranteed his safety. Now, we're talking business. Let's talk business.
Yeah, let's talk business, Mike.
I have been in the cafe where Michael meets Apollonia's dad. I've walked all around, and it's wonderful. And I'd love to find out whether it'd be really cheap or really expensive to marry in that church. And I'm hoping that I find now somebody who does love The Godfather as much as I do, or somebody who I can lie to and say, "Oh, I've always wanted to get married in Sicily. My grandma and granddad love Sicily. I thought they got married in Osset. No, they got married in Sicily."
My great granddad Vito.
Now this is Fletch. My three brothers, Michael, Sonny, and Fredo. Michael Corleone. Incredible stuff. Let's jump then to best single minute.
Hey.
Oh, I'll start since you started. Baptism.
Very good. Very, very good.
I'll say it. Best montage ever.
Yeah.
What could we put against it?
What have we done?
Volleyball montage in Top Gun.
So,
Playing with the boys.
I heard volleyball, and I just think of the dodgeball montage in Dodgeball.
That's good. That's good.
That's a great
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. The walk-off montage from Zoolander.
Yes.
Ending set to Michael Jackson's Beat It, ending with David Bowie. Disqualified.
The training montage in Rocky.
Yeah.
That's good.
But the answer is baptism.
The training montage in Chicken Run is also a great montage.
Famously just as good as Chicken Run. What if Chicken Run 2 is the same thing as Godfather Part 2? And it's like they get around not bringing Julia Swatho back, and they have a young ginger learning how to escape, and then incredible. The morgue, when he brings, look what they did to my boy. Look how they massacred my boy. Yeah, his face drops. It's wonderful. The famous porch scene, rewritten and punched up by Robert Towne, right? From Chinatown and The Last Detail. I'm gonna go through the. Sorry, I keep going through the force of habit. And it just ends with Michael very deflated on those wonderful porch chairs. And he's like, you sort of see a bit of the weight of the world is now upon him. This is your life now, Mike. This is your life.
This is your life.
This is, your life now, Michael. And you are now the Godfather.
Wouldn't that be great to be the Godfather?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? This leads once again to my idea for a perfect TV channel. The first hours of rise and fall movies. So, like the first hour and a half of Wolf of Wall Street, the first hour and a half of Goodfellas, the first hour and a half of Casino, just the wedding of this, and then just that'd be the first hour and a half of Boogie Nights. Just the fun times, and then there's another really depressing TV channel. That's just the downfall and the cocaine and everybody getting killed, and all of Godfather Part II. It's wonderful stuff. The final. I will let you ask me in my business this one time, Kim. Michael, you called it a bastard, and then that incredible slam down on the table. Wow. I actually scared the three roommates I was watching this with. Because they had to watch it for homework. They said, Tom, have you seen The Godfather? And I said, oh, what? And I said, do you own it? I know you've got your Blu-rays with you. And I said, I never leave home without it. And I said, all right, then Sunday I'll bring my TV in and we can watch both first two back to back. He goes, oh, they're like short. No. And like the amount of little things that I knew the exact cues for, and I scared them because no, and I got the slam perfect on the sofa, and it was like 3D. So if you want to watch Godfather in 3D, everybody, just go up to my house.
Please,
please, stop it. Please watch The Godfather with me.
Connie, what's the matter? I can't hear you. What is it? Connie, talk louder. The baby's crying. Santina, I can't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, Connie. Listen, you wait there. No, you just wait there. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch! What's the matter? Open the goddamn gate. Get off your
ass. What if I meet the perfect woman and she loves The Godfather and she's like, oh, let's watch The Godfather, and then we sit down and it starts.
And then you ruin it by scaring her to death.
No. My joke's better.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
and it starts, and she's like, "Wait a minute, what's this?" And I go, "It's your favourite film? It's The Godfather." It's like, "No, it's Under the Sea," and she means Shark Tale.
That was your joke. Really wasn't better.
It was better. We'd already done the thing of ha ha ha, I scare women. We can lift that out.
Shark Tale's a great. It's a great one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Working at the car wash. Whoa, working at the car wash. Yeah. The shooting of Vito and Fredo throwing his gun.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Do you think Brando milks the shooting?
I think I'd have a pretty similar reaction, Will, if I'd just been shot 6 times. At a very old age.
He goes, and then he falls to the floor, and then he goes again.
And then he flops over. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
He was having a good time. He was
in the bed for the rest of the film. And then the final death of Vito. That beautiful scene with the orange. Not to get too nostalgic, but I knew the orange trick before I saw The Godfather because my granddad used to do it, and now I do it. I not to and not to my child, unfortunately. But I did it in Philadelphia. It's like they'd never seen it before, and I just got an orange, and I went, and they went, "What? How did you learn to do that?" It's very easy. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And just when he's knocking over the tomatoes, and then the kid, little Anthony, and he keeps watering him because he thinks it's just a game, and it's beautiful. It's tragic. It's wonderful. Are you going to say now that little kid overacts?
No.
I think that's a fine little boy. Look, well, your big thing about child actors, I think little Anthony does a marvelous job. You're going to say the baby in the baptism could have done a better job as well.
Yeah, he could have.
She could have. It's little Sophia Coppola.
Oh, it is.
It is. Yeah. Best line. Let's go back and forth. Will, kick us off.
I'm gonna do the old. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. That's
classic. Classic for a reason.
It's a good one.
Only don't tell me you're innocent because it insults my intelligence and makes me angry.
Francis Rizzi, do you renounce Satan?
I do renounce him.
And all his works?
I do renounce them.
And all his pomps?
I do renounce them.
I like leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Take the cannelloni. In Sicily, women are more dangerous than shotguns.
I don't like violence, Tom. I'm a businessman. Blood is a big expense.
All right. This one time I'll let you ask me about my affairs. Is it true? Is it? No. I guess we both need a drink, huh?
That's it from me.
Okay. Tell your boss he can ask for anything else, but this is one favor I can't grant him. Mr. Corleone never asks a second favor once he's been refused the first, understood? You don't understand. Johnny Fontaine never gets that movie. That part is perfect for him. It'll make him a big star, and I'm going to run him other movies. And let me tell you why. Johnny Fontaine ruined one of Waltz International's most valuable proteges. For 3 years we had her under contract. Singing lessons, dancing lessons, acting lessons. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was going to make her a big star. And let me be even more frank, just to show you I'm not a hard-hearted man, that it's not all dollars and cents. She was beautiful. She was young. She was innocent. She was the greatest piece of ass I've ever had, and I've had him all over the world. And then Johnny Fontaine comes along with his olive oil voice and giddy charm, and she runs off. She threw it all away just to make me look ridiculous. And a man in my position can't afford to be made to look ridiculous. Now you get the hell out of here. and if that Gumba tries any rough stuff, you tell him I ain't no band leader. Yeah, I heard that story. Wonderful. One of my favorite parts of the film.
Jack Waltz's speech is the best bit.
It's a
That's the best line.
great character. You talk about vengeance. Is vengeance going to bring your son back to you? Or my boy back to me? It's painful, really. Painful stuff. Listen, whoever comes to you at this Barzini meeting, he's the traitor. Don't forget that. Hey, listen, I want somebody good, and I mean very good, to plant that gun. I don't want my brother coming out of that toilet with just his dick in his hands, all right? The gun will be there. Clemenza, wonderful.
I'd quite like to do my favourite minutes, Tom, if that's okay.
Didn't you?
Because you missed me off.
Oh, well. Okay, back to...
It's all right. I've only got 2. Horse's Head Wake Up is good.
Yes, it is. I can't believe we've neglected that.
Yeah. We talked more about it in Airplane, I think. And then telling Vito about Sonny's death. I love that scene. It's so sad.
And these are murderers, these are horrible people, but every time it's enough to make you weep. Any other nominations?
No.
Yeah. What's the change, Will?
I haven't got one.
Good.
I think this is the first time I haven't got a change.
During the Carlo beat up, there are a few very obvious misses with the punches. That's my only change. There are a few that are just painfully obvious. And it's a shame. What's left from Will's notes?
A change that I've suddenly thought of.
Oh.
That's what's left from my notes. Bigger bullets that make holes.
What?
In glasses.
Oh, right. Your glasses theory.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah.
Michael, is it true?
Don't ask me about my business, Kate.
Is it true?
Don't ask me about my business.
No.
All right. This one time. This one time, I'll let you ask me about my affairs.
Okay. What's left from Tom's notes? Oh, is there anything left from Will's notes?
No, but I expect there's another half-hour section coming forward.
It's not too bad this week. The Sonny wife bridesmaid section, where Sonny's wife is talking, Paula is talking about the size of his penis. Did you know that in the book, Will, the reason that the bridesmaid has to have sex with Sonny is because she needs certain size requirements due to so she needs.
I didn't even realise it was a book.
Didn't you?
No.
Yes, The Godfather was a bestseller, Will, by Mario Puzo. That's why it's Mario Puzo's The Godfather. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, it all makes sense.
Who's Mario Puzo? thought this movie was made by Francis Ford Coppola. Yes, Johnny Fontaine, who is supposedly Frank Sinatra. I love another little moment in the wedding. I love Drunk Fredo coming up. Hey, Mike, Kay, lovely stuff. The earliest Kay and Michael stuff with them at the wedding, and he tells the Luca Brasi story, and he does that tragic, ironic, painful line. That's my family, Kay. It's not me. Give it 5 hours, Michael. Not even that. Give it an hour. Give it an hour. So there is a lot of conversation about what oranges reflect in the movies. So basically, there are a few times where oranges show up when people die or violence. So Tessio is holding an orange at the start. Symbolically, maybe he's the traitor. Vito is obviously buying oranges when he gets shot. He's obviously got the orange when he dies. But I've never gone with this theory because there are so many times when oranges are shown and nobody's a traitor, nobody's dead, nobody's going to die. So I've always ignored it. Anyway. Kay's letter. In both films, we have lovely scenes with Kay and Hagen, where Michael is away. In this scene, it's obviously Kay trying to get Tom to give him the letter. Okay, I can't accept that because if in the court of law it proves that I know where Michael is. And then in the second film, it's obviously Kay trying to leave the compound and Tom having to stop her. As horrible to watch as the beat-up scene is, there's a great moment where Talia Shire, Francis Ford Coppola's sister, playing Connie Corleone, grabs a knife, and Carlo starts shouting, "Kill me! Be a murderer like your father! Be a murderer like all your family!" And that moment is, I've always liked that moment. The Barzini taxi revelation.
Yes.
Flawless. And there's a lot of over both of these movies. There is a lot of revelations happening off screen that people then tell people about in the next scene. Of it wasn't until today that I know Don Barzini was the man. It wasn't until today that Hyman Roth. I know it was Hyman Roth. And you just go with it. And why wouldn't you? Alternate ending. There isn't really one, but there are, naturally, more than a few fun facts. Hey. During an early shot of the scene where Vito returns home and his people carry him up the stairs, Marlon Brando put weights under his body as a prank to make it harder to lift him. Classic Marlon. Lenny Montana, Luca Brasi, was so nervous about working with Brando that in the first take of their scene together, he flubbed some lines. Director Francis Ford Coppola liked the genuine nervousness and used it in the final cut. The scenes of Luca practicing his speech were added later. The cat held by Marlon Brando in the opening scene was a stray that Coppola found while on the lot at Paramount and was not originally called for in the script. So content was the cat that its purring muffled some of Brando's dialogue, and as a result, most of his lines had to be redubbed. So content was the cat. Yeah, Brando did not memorize most of his lines, and cue cards were everywhere. Animal rights activists protested the horsehead scene.
It was a real horsehead, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got it from a butcher.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola told Variety, there were many people killed in that movie, but everyone worries about the horse. It was the same on the set. When the head arrived, it upset many crew members who were animal lovers, who were like little doggies. What they don't know is that we got the head from a pet food manufacturer who slaughters 200 horses a day to feed those little doggies. Francis there, going a bit psycho. Orson Welles lobbied to get the part of Don Vito Corleone, even offering to lose a great deal of weight in order to get the role. Francis, a Welles fan, had to turn him down because he already had Brando in mind for the role. and felt as well as it would be right. Do you know who was a big fan of this film? I mean, lots of people. Stanley Kubrick thought the film, indeed, Stanley Kubrick thought the film had the best cast ever and could be the best movie ever made.
Could be.
Now, I think it's one of the best casts ever used to their best ability. Like, you look at some of these, like, you know, terrible movies with 100 people in, and you go, well, maybe that's the best cast ever, but they're not all used to their capability.
Yeah.
Do you know who put together the mattress sequence, the montage?
Oh, no.
George Lucas.
Oh, dear.
What do you mean, oh, dear? George Lucas is oh, dear now.
Yeah. It was a pop culture hit reference for the kids.
Yeah, Yoda from Attack of the Clones. Francis Ford Coppola was reluctant to let his sister Talia Shire audition for the role of Connie. He felt that she was too pretty for the part and did not want to be accused of nepotism. Only at Mario Puzo's request did Shire get a chance to audition. Yet this sort of opinion didn't matter to him when it came to casting his terrible daughter.
It was Hitchcock did that as well. At least she was.
Yeah, at least
though.
Patricia Hitchcock was a fine comedic relief character in very small parts in Psycho and Trains on a Train. She didn't have the most important role in Godfather Part III, second to Andy Garcia. Francis Ford Coppola, and also that film was. We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about it next episode. We'll give.
We're not giving it its own episode.
No, I did consider it, but we'll get to this next episode. Francis Ford Coppola held improvisational rehearsal sessions that simply consisted of the main cast sitting down in character for a family meal. The actors and actresses couldn't break character, which Coppola saw as a way for the cast to organically establish the family role seen in the final film.
That's something I do with my acting workshops when I direct. Yeah, I love improv.
I vary. Sometimes I'm simultaneously a very technical director. I remember because I did a directing with Garth, previous guest Garth in it, and Garth is a very, you know, fluid, very experimental guy, and then he was under me, and I'm quite technical and quite okay. Let's get this. As you know, I'm a very
working under you.
I like to cut bullshit, and I just like to okay, all right, let's stage this. You know, let's just do this blocking, and then we'll work on it. I'm even more technical when it comes to filming, aren't I?
Too technical, some might say.
No. I do like improvisation.
The
problem is we don't
more
have
in live
cameras.
theatre. Yeah.
The problem is we don't have enough cameras. So because I also have to edit, so I'm like, oh well, okay. The technicians who added the squibs to James Caan's body told him he had never attached that many squibs to anyone before. Caan replied, "You didn't have to tell me that right now." Robert De Niro was originally cast as the ill-fated driver Paulie.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't.
Thank God. Yeah. Thank God that that didn't happen. According to Al Pacino in The Godfather Family: A Look Inside, 1990, he nearly got fired midway through the film. Nobody wanted Pacino. They wanted Dustin Hoffman or Robert Redford. It was Coppola who was like adamant for Pacino. I mean, they didn't want Coppola either. There were, the whole time there were people waiting in the wings to overthrow. And so Coppola basically filmed, pardon me, the McCluskey restaurant scene and shot that and said, "Do you believe me now?" And they were like, "Yeah." During filming, James Caan and Gianni Russo, Carlo, did not get along and were frequently at loggerheads. During the filming of Sonny's beating of Carlo, Caan nearly hit Russo with the stick he threw at him and broke 2 of Russo's ribs and chipped his elbow.
Oh, Christ.
So one of my changes may have been that a few of those punches missed, but that stick definitely didn't. Synopsis of a sequel. We're going to talk about it next episode.
Because of course there is a sequel.
Yes, there is one. A few of Tom's big questions. In the 2-year jump, when Michael comes home from Sicily, and he says, I've been here about a year, but maybe more. What's happening? What's happening there? I'm working for my father now. Is he strayed away?
Maybe Vito's been like, oh, you got nothing to do, son. Come help me out with a few things. He'll take your mind off things. And that's how he slowly grooves it into the family business.
Mm.
Maybe Vito knows his time is coming. Yeah. And he needs to quickly get a new Godfather.
And also, it's rather clear that things aren't going well. Because, the first time we meet Clemenza and Tessio again, they're asking to make their own family. They want to get out. So, alas. Who killed the horse? Tom Hagen goes out there on his own. Did Tom kill that horse and
maybe? Oh, I don't know. Fletch
killed the horse. Erwin F. Fletcher killed the horse. Was Paulie actually sick? Did Paulie have to die? He did have to die because they couldn't trust him either way. But was he actually sick?
Well, it's the classic case of, is it a cover-up? I think it was probably a cover-up.
Yeah.
But no, that death was definitely that had to happen because there's not enough in this film. Not many people die.
Indeed. Who do you think Michael loved more, Apollonia or Kay?
From only having watched this film, or do you factor in 2?
We don't factor in 3.
No.
Where it suddenly becomes a wacky rom-com. Jesus.
It's the contrast of the 2. It's one of them is the more natural sort of. They don't really start off, but then the chemistry builds and they have the natural conflict, and then it works out. And the other one seems to be like a holiday romance.
This leads into the other Tom's big question: is what happens if Apollonia doesn't die? Does he bring her back, and then is that his wife?
Probably, but I can see Michael having mistresses.
I don't. Yeah. See, I've never seen Michael as the cheating type. I don't think he would ever cheat on Kay. He doesn't.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what I think he's, he's married to the sea. I think he doesn't have the time to cheat. Like, when he says in Las Vegas, who are these girls? That's for you to find out, Mikey. No, get rid of them. I'm here for business. These 4 incredible model-looking blonde women. Get rid of them. So I think, I don't think Michael could. Anybody could cheat, but would you? No, because that would be disgusting, foul, and vulgar. Anyway, is the legitimacy a lie when Michael says in 5 years the Corleone family will be legitimate?
I think he really believes it at the time.
Obviously, we know Godfather Part II. She says, "This reminds me, Michael." I hope my Diane Keaton as Kay voice sounds like I'm making fun of her, but it's actually how she sounds. She goes, "Michael, you said to me that 5 years from now the Corleone family would be entirely legitimate. That was 7 years ago." So we know that it doesn't pan out. But even in Part 2, he's trying to make it. He's trying to get legitimacy. He's trying to get back into the Vegas. He just has to get rid of Hyman Roth because Hyman Roth shot him in his bedroom, where my wife sleeps, where my children play with their toys. What's McCluskey eating? They sit down. McCluskey goes, "Is the food good in this place? Try the veal.
It's veal, is it? Yeah.
Try the veal. No, try the veal is the best in the city. He's already eating. He's already eating at that point.
It'd be like meatballs or something, a starter.
Starter, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the food has come before the wine has come. Because they caught the wine. This has always got me. Every time I go, what's he eating? What's the guy doing? What's he eating?
You don't know how long they've been there. They might have already had a nice glass of wine, and then that got taken away, and then they brought another bottle of wine for the meal. A different bottle for every meal. That's what I say.
You have it tattooed. Closing line Hall of Fame. Don Corleone and the door.
Oh.
And Diane. Dun, 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 dun. I think the power of the film is that even if we didn't have Godfather Part II, I mean, that is a perfect ending. Even if we don't have the rest of Godfather Part II, it's hard to sort of. I mean, it's easy enough to knock out Godfather Part 3 because it's a bad movie. You can easily enough block that out. For me, Michael dies alone on the compound, you know, as we see in 1963. He doesn't try to win Kay back and establish Andy Garcia. And anyway, the ending of this film is perfect. The ending of Godfather Part 2 is also perfect. Will, any final thoughts on The Godfather?
Very, very good. I'm interested to. You hinted earlier that you have a ranking of the two in your head. Should we save that one for?
We will save that
next
for next episode.
Yeah. Interested to see how we compare.
I think I know how you'll sit, but who knows? I may be wrong. Don't get me wrong. So yes, Auf Wiedersehen for us. It'll be, I don't know, half an hour or whatever. But for you, dear listener, it will be till
an agonizing 3 days.
I can't even bear it. Okay, so Auf Wiedersehen. I don't have something to. No.
Ciao. It's Italian.
Hey, ciao. Don Corleone. Don Carruthers.
Don Corleone.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba